And these were some of the sentiments from the public as we went around finding out from them what they think these attacks on migrants are and what do they think it has done on the arts industry. We want to look at the impact the recent attacks on migrants have had on the arts industry. And my guests this afternoon are renowned music producer Clive Mukundu. Good afternoon and welcome to Friday Chat.
Good afternoon, Monika, and good afternoon, listeners.
Also want to welcome R-Tendo Tapiwa. She's an actress, social commentator, and she describes herself as a Jack, or rather Jane, of all trades. Good afternoon and welcome to Friday Chat.
Good afternoon, Mo. Thank you for having me and for getting that right.
And last, certainly not least, is Faith Nyarambi Mabaudi. She is a family therapist and a journalist. Welcome to Friday Chat.
Welcome indeed. I'm excited. That's why I'm panting. It's my mother's birthday and she's listening. Happy birthday, Mama.
That is amazing. Happy birthday to Faith's mother. And we start off, first and foremost, I will ask, in light of the attacks on migrants, is this xenophobia or Afrophobia and why? I'll pose the question first to Clive.
I think trying to sort of polish up the criminal activities being perpetrated on foreigners by giving the criminal activity nice names. The word phobia, it means fear. So we can't really say the South Africans fear foreigners. They actually hate foreigners. So to me, to be frank, I think it should just be called terrorism. This is street terrorism. It's just the same thing with what Muslim extremists do in countries that have Muslim extremists. So this is just terrorism. If you remember very well, I think last year or 2 years ago, there was an incident in Boston, USA, when somebody detonated a bomb, Pamba Chitoma Sports, so it was called terrorism. It was called street terrorism. So it's the same thing with what's being happening in South Africa. It's terrorism.
Terrorism, street terrorism, as Clive puts it. But I will pose the same question to you, R-Tendo. In your opinion, can you describe these attacks on migrants as xenophobia or Afrophobia, and why, if you can explain to us?
Okay, for me, first, Mo, I think the question is why are we so concerned with labeling? Why are we so concerned with terms? Because what is happening here is criminal. At the end of the day, if people are being burnt, if people are being butchered, if people are being killed, it is exactly what it is. It's not like you're saying, oh, there's a xenophobic attack on me, or there's a xenophobic or Afrophobic, whatever Afrophobic is. And I'm seriously hating that term because I don't know what it is. Because for me, the first question is, if you want to call it Afrophobia, who is African? Because it then points to Africa. Who is African? If we go back to history, if we go back to anything, everybody started in Africa. So for me, the question now becomes, why are we trying to further bring in unnecessary issues of racism, issues of tribe, issues of nationalities? Because at the end of the day, whoever is in South Africa at some point came from Egypt, at some point came from, where civilization or where mankind started from. I think that's the word I want, where mankind started from. So ultimately, nobody, from South Africa. It's not like some spacecraft crash landed in South Africa and brought two people who created the South Africans. They all come from somewhere. And I was just reading something on Sitole. Incidentally, he's actually traced his genealogy to South Africa, and it's just a few generations back. It makes him South African, it makes him Mozambican, it makes him a child of Africa. And this is just one name we can actually pronounce. But at the end of the day, this whole idea of trying to say you don't belong here, South Africans don't belong in South Africa at the end of the day, and I get really mad when people talk about
we'll hold that thought. It is Friday Chat, and we want to chat, not fight. And I will pose the same question to Faith. You are a journalist, and you have been following these issues just like every other person who is affected by this situation, whether personally or emotionally. We all seem to be affected in this issue. Labels like R-Tendo said, why is a label being put to it? But in your view, these attacks on migrants, would you place them as being xenophobic or Afrophobic, and why?
I wouldn't pass them for xenophobia until we get a report that they have attacked somebody from Europe. If they're only attacking Africans, then why are we calling it xenophobia? Are we not finding better terms like Afrophobia, like you're giving us? This is definitely Afrophobia. There are no two ways about it. They are attacking fellow black men. I don't like to use black, but for maybe just to be clear in this, they are only attacking Africans. They are not attacking people from Europe. They haven't attacked anyone from America. Please correct me. I haven't heard any reports of any Americans who have been brutally attacked in this violence. So why are we calling it xenophobia? This is straightforward Afrophobia.
Okay, we've had your views. 3 views coming in from different angles, different contexts in what you would describe these attacks on migrants as. But let's look at the reports that have come in where there have been artists who are taking a stand against the so-called xenophobia. We've had articles speak of icons who are speaking of this the social ill which is in our midst as African people. Have these attacks affected the arts industry? And let's start off with our Zimbabwean context. Clive.
It has affected us in a way, but not as much as it has affected South African artists. We had a number of Zimbabwean artists that were due to perform in South Africa. People like Alec Macheso, he had to cancel his gig. I've forgotten the names of the other few artists who had to cancel their gigs. But I think on the Zimbabwean part, it was a case of safety. Being safe, not is different from the cancellations of South African gigs. Because South African gigs, most of them were cancelled because there were some people who had threatened to boycott the South African shows. But it's not all shows that have been cancelled. Ringo is still coming, because I heard somebody saying that Ringo was supposed to come for the Green concert. He's still coming for the Green concert. And Kumalo, what's his name? Winnie Kumalo is also coming for the Green concert. As you know, Derek Mpofu is the one who coordinates Green concert. He has done an anti-xenophobia song, which is regional, with artists from South Africa, Winnie Kumalo, DJ Cleo, artists from Nigeria, Kunle Ayo, artists from DRC, artists from Botswana. So they were just confirming on the song that they were not supporting xenophobia. So Ringo is still coming. So South African artists have been affected in that some of their shows have been cancelled, and a few of our Zimbabwean shows have been cancelled. That's the effect xenophobia had on our arts industry.
Of course, you speak on behalf of musicians, being a music producer. But when we also look at theatre, film production, R-Tendo, you are in film, and we would want to understand, has this affected the arts industry, especially in terms of theatre? And when we look at the local industry itself, could it have had a damp in progress in terms of theatre productions, collaborations, even with our neighbours because of these recent attacks?
Okay, I would go on speculation, but I think the major event we're all going to be looking at is Haifa, to understand what has been going on, because they've been called, and I'm one of the people who've actually been saying, let's boycott South African shows. Because for me, essentially, the idea is why I would personally be out there and saying, let's boycott South African shows, is because I really feel an injury to one person is an injury to all. And it is sad that as a nation, we have found ourselves in spaces where we're thinking, until, I think one of the people you interviewed was saying, unless it's somebody who you know who's been killed or who's been affected by xenophobia, then you can boycott. And I'm thinking, excuse me, I don't even know Sitole from the back of my hand, but the fact that he was a living, breathing human being who lost his life simply because he came from a different country and was trying to earn a living in another country, and he has to lose his life for that, it makes me very angry. It makes me feel so safe, because if it is okay for somebody to think, let me kill someone else, what's going to stop the next person from thinking, you know what, you're an actress, let me kill you, because actress should not be in this world? Because at some point we need to stop this madness, and everybody who is against, or everybody who doesn't have an opinion, must begin to have an opinion. We cannot afford to be impartial or to tread on the line. So for me, coming back to the arts, in terms of collaborations and everything, I think right now I think as Trevor Noah says in his comedy, it's too soon. You know, arts unfortunately have got a uniting impact, but to come and entertain people in the midst of this, I have one of my best friend's sister lost her husband, you know, in these attacks, and I only found out yesterday. And I'm thinking, oh my word, but I was angry even before I got this news, because whoever's mother, whoever's brother, whoever's child is being affected by people who think it's okay to get angry at other people and burn them and do whatever. So for me, it doesn't touch on my industry, so to speak. It touches on my humanity. I'm a person and they are people. So that's where it touches for me.
Okay, Faith, let's turn to you. You are in the media, and of course, with the number of articles and the way the issue of the attacks has been going round, even on social media, would you say with the reportage on the attacks, it also brings out how far-fetched this issue has creeped into the arts industry? And in your view, how far has it actually affected the arts industry?
I think just judging from the expression, the emotion that is being expressed here this afternoon by my fellow speaker here, we can already see that there's a lot of emotion building up. There's a lot of bitterness. The brutality that the South Africans are expressing through Afrophobia is slowly creeping into us as well, because of the way we are sending clips of people who have been brutally attacked through xenophobia, because of the way we are talking about it. Let's not build up emotions. Let's not build up a terror zone. Let's not encourage anything that has to do with retaliation. But there is a lot of emotion that has been building up, Monika. You will actually understand, because you heard her speaking. She is speaking in a way that if she was given a chance to be with a South African in a room where there is no police, where there is no one else, she would brutally attack. Because
Really?
She is sounding so emotional about it. So we are saying we are crying with the families that have lost their beloved members through these attacks. We are mourning as a nation, but let's try by all means to stay sober, and let's not become brutal. Let's not become barbaric like them.
Okay, you have there have been mention of the word boycott in all three of your sentiments. We will get into the issue of the boycott, but before we get to that, I wanted R-Tendo to come in, because of course Faith did mention that there is a lot of emotion that is arising because of the images that people are seeing, even on social media. It's also the articles, in some publications that really evoke a lot of emotion, a lot of hate, and creating at the same time a lot of hate speech on other social media platforms. Now, how risky is it for social media as a tool which is supposed to help in terms of communication and send out awareness, or teach people or inform people in the right way, when we connect it with these attacks? How much of an impact can it be? R-Tendo.
Okay, for me, social media plays a very crucial role. It is basically how we are getting to find out what is happening. But unfortunately, it needs to be used responsibly, because now what is then also happening is that you're finding images from 2008, the first attacks that happened, and they're the ones that are being circulated. You're also getting images of attacks that happened in Nigeria that are being circulated as if they are what is happening in South Africa right now. But also at the same time, there are not enough images that are coming out from South Africa right now. And for me, I'm kind of, okay, thank you. I actually disabled my WhatsApp auto download for images and video. And if anybody sends me anything that I can't kind of make out without downloading, I ask, what image is this? If they tell me it's somebody who's been burnt, I'm like, no, thank you. Please don't send me those, because I get traumatized. you know. And for me, I mean, people have been talking about the video of a 14-year-old who was ripped apart. I can only imagine, because I really get affected. As Faith was saying, I get very emotional. But I think at this point it then becomes important to send out a message that is very clear to everybody out there to say, look, it's not every South African who is hating on the next person. It is not every South African. It is not every, I mean, we can all stand and criticize how the President Jacob Zuma was not as emotional or as passionate about saying stop xenophobia. Julius Malema was on point and he's like, we need to just be, and nobody says, hey, he was emotional. But because it's R-Tendo, people think I'm going to beat up somebody. I'm not. I'm very emotional because this is something that touches on me. But I'm not going to beat up the next South African. For what? It's not going to stop xenophobia. If anything, it's just going to make it all worse. And I'm listening. I'm trying to look for the positive messages that are coming out of South Africa. And I'm trying to share the statuses of South Africans who are sharing what they are doing in their communities. Unfortunately, I forgot the name of the community where they've actually said, as South Africans, we've got foreign shops that are being run by foreigners. They've set up like a neighborhood watch. It's what we would call it in Zim. And they say by 9 o'clock, everybody's shops should be closed because it's safer for you at least until 9. Then they start patrolling. Nobody is going to do anything. If people are coming in, they're tipping the police officers, they're doing civilian arrests. Those kind of stories, if they are being shared more than the images that are coming out of South Africa, I think sanity will begin to just calm everybody down. And for me, that's what's important.
All right, Clive, sanity, barbaric images. Can we justify the kind of images that are being flown around social media at this point? And speaking of responsible posting, responsible journalism, even on the part of media practitioners, are they doing just that?
The problem with social media is that everybody is now a journalist. I'm a journalist. R-Tendo is a journalist. My sister, my daughter, my son, everybody is now a journalist. So if it's a professional journalists who are professional in their work, they know that some images are not supposed to be shown publicly. Even on TV, you see them showing a notice in Dorothy, the forthcoming images of a graphic nature, so that people who don't feel comfortable can switch off their TVs or change channels. But if people are just sending some images which are too gruesome to watch. And I think that's being very, very irresponsible. Also considering with some of the images that are being sent or shared over social media, images from other parts of the world, not from South Africa. So I think it's being very, very irresponsible.
Okay, so need for a disclaimer, need for being responsible in terms of reporting on the issue of the attacks currently underway in some parts of South Africa.
True.
Our time is 28 minutes to 3 o'clock, and if you are just joining us on the program, this is Friday Chat. And yes, sometimes I do give the payoff line, remember it's only a chit chat, but there are some chit chats that are of a very intense conversation that evoke a lot of emotion, and today is one of them. And we need to ensure that even when we are going to contribute or discuss further on the issue of xenophobia, we need to consider those who are affected. My line is now open. 498651 is the number to dial, and don't forget to prefix 04 to that number if you are calling from your cell phone or from outside Harare. We are looking at the impact of the recent attacks on migrants on the arts industry. I am joined in by Clive Mukundu, a music producer, as well as R-Tendo Tapiwa. She's an actress, social commentator, and I will repeat again, a Jane of all trades. Also want to mention Faith Mabodi Nyarambi. She is a family therapist as well as a journalist. And we continue to just provoke a thought and go a little deeper on Friday Chat, going to the boycotting of South African products, South African shows. Is this the way to go, Clive? Is this the stance that people need to take? Will it bring a positive direction?
I think, like what other people say, you don't throw away the bathwater together with the baby. We need to be angry responsibly. Because if you look at the issue of South African products, right now in Zimbabwe, I think a bigger percentage, maybe over 50% of the products that we are consuming in our houses are from South Africa. So if we boycott those products, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. And then also when it comes to music shows, what happens with music shows, it's not just about the entertainment part, the dancing part, there's also the business side. All these shows were negotiated before the xenophobic attacks, and a lot of money was put in paying deposit to the artists and advertising the shows. So if you just cancel these shows, what it means is that promoter has lost all that money, and we already have cases of 2 promoters that we have in Zimbabwe who died of stress-related illnesses because of shows they didn't go well. So this is also another serious issue.
498-651 is the number to dial. But award-winning star Nyomvest on Sunday at the Summer Awards spoke out about how the violence has affected musicians and made a plea for it to stop. Now, he is one of the artists who are billed to perform in Zimbabwe this weekend. And people have taken to social media to say, don't even try coming in because we are not going to come to that show. And there are other tweets and other comments on social media which I will not say for, well, we would not rather want to incite even more grief than need be. But before we turn to Faith, let's take a call. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, you're live on Friday Chat.
Hello?
Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat, sir.
Masura.
Maskati Masura, say, go ahead.
You know what, my sister?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Can hear you loud and clearly. Go ahead.
Bad connection.
498-651. We could hear him. Please, we will hear your comments. If you feel you cannot hear me, just go ahead with your contribution. And my panel of guests definitely would want to respond to those if need be. 498-651 is the number to dial, and you can be a part of the conversation right here on Friday Chat. Do remember, it's a chit chat. But the issue of boycotting, well, looks like we have to take that call. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon, sir. You're live?
Yes, thank you. I want to give a comment about this inhumanity thing that is happening in South Africa.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I don't think there's any justification on the part of South Africans to go to such an extent. I'm in Bedbridge right now. Really, it's a pity. I wonder why we as Zimbabweans should attend such shows by South Africans when our fellow brothers and sisters are being brutally attacked in South Africa. Kids are just lying on the ground without any blankets, you know what I mean? It's really painful. I appreciate my sister in the studio when she becomes more emotional. I understand her. So on my own part, I don't think it's quite okay. We as Zimbabweans to attend such shows. They have to put their house in order first, and they should appreciate that we are all Zimbabwe. We are all Africans, in fact. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, sir, for your contribution. And calling all the way from Bedbridge, 498-651 is the number to dial. And you can be a part of the conversation. Join the convo right here on ZBC SFM. Friday Chat is the name of the program. And we will take another caller. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Hello, sir. 498651 is the number to dial, and you can go ahead with your contribution as soon as you get through to our line on ZBC SFM's Friday Chat. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'm calling from Rwanda. I'm sorry I can't hear you. But I just want to say, ndinonzwa ndine urombo kune vamwe vakashayika. Chiko chinonzi mari muZimbabwe. Mwana ari kutaura kuti kudiko. Ndosaka aniti vanhu vachingofa nekuti hatidi kubatana. Inguva yekuchema, ngatimbochema tione kuti zvinosvika papi. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that contribution. 498 is the number to 498651. And please, let's reduce the volume of our monitor so we do not have feedback. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Go ahead. Well, we'll try and take that caller once again until I think we can try this time round. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, yes, you're live on Friday Chat. Go ahead. Hello, ma'am. Well, I think we just lost her, but yes, that payoff line unotosha Shirukumbo Famba say is coming in from the lady there, but 498651 is the number to dial. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon. I think I will revert to my panel of guests, and yes, Faith. The issue of boycotts. I know the phones are blazing right now, but the issue of boycotts. There are some callers who have said they need to put their house in order, and we are in grief. We are pained by this. Mari Kutichi. There is a need to boycott. That is according to some of our listeners. What is your take?
I do acknowledge that we are mourning. I acknowledge that we are hurting because of what is happening in South Africa. I don't condone Afrophobia. And I don't condone us trying to retaliate through fixing our music industry, through fixing our artists. What has that got to do with the attacks that are happening in South Africa? It's an opportunity for us as Zimbabweans to demonstrate that we are indeed a peaceful nation. We are indeed as friendly as we've always been. People don't fear coming to Zimbabwe. From all over the world, all over the years, people have always known that Zimbabwe is a safe destination. Artists come here every year. We have tourists who come to just view our Victoria Falls, and we have always been trusted as a safe and peaceful destination. So it's not any time for us.
I'll cut you just there before I ask you to continue. There are those who are saying, in as much as we may speak peace and say we should not fight fire with fire, there is still a way of having a peaceful boycott of products. What's your take on that? Peaceful in this.
Boycotting is not an expression of peace, it's an expression of anger. We are saying we are fixing you. They have come all the way to perform, and we are not going to be there when they perform. It's a way of fixing them. It's not even a way of expressing our grief. I'm saying let's find healthy ways of dealing with this. It's a painful era for everyone, but let's find a healthy way of dealing with this without us going barbaric like the South Africans. Please, Zimbabweans,
so
let's stay sober-headed.
What's the healthy then?
The healthy thing to do here is for us to attend these functions and support the South Africans, give them the kind of support that we want them to give our fellow Zimbabweans who are in their country. Let's show them that we love our foreigners. We treat them with respect and honor. Let's show them that we are righteous, we are full of justice, and we are fair. Let's not treat them the way they are treating our fellow Zimbabweans down there. Then we would have stooped very low if we do that.
R-Tendo.
Okay, it feels like Faith is going to beat up somebody who says don't don't boycott the shows. But you know what? I really feel as Zimbabweans, this whole tag of being peaceful is now being abused upon us. Because seriously, a boycott, what is a boycott? It's one of the expressions we can use. It is peaceful. I think those who were at the South African embassy last week on Friday, people were just marching and singing and just saying no to xenophobia. But I like that Faith talks about beginning to address issues in a healthy manner. I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to be popular, but I've never been popular and I've never sought popularity. The situation in Zimbabwe right now needs to be fixed. Tinemota, we have a boil, and this boil is painful. And when a boil is painful, there's a time where you can't touch it, but there's a time where you know right now it is done. It needs to be squeezed out, and we need to squeeze it. Our government needs to put the house in order. Boycotting South African products, which are about 50% of what is in Zimbabwe right now, is one of the ways. And why people will say, oh, but what are we going to eat? Exactly, that's the government's duty to make sure we have something to eat. Industries need to be brought back. Olivin, say, Nestle, say. I mean, what the farmers, ever since they got farms, from bread basket to begging basket, seriously?
But we are not talking about that.
No.
Just hold it,
It's part of it.
R-Tendo. Just hold it there. In as much as we want to ensure that this discussion becomes very progressive, not retrogressive, and we need to leave our emotions out of the discussion so that we pave way for very progressive ideas, solutions, and talk. But I will come back to you. Let's take a call. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Hello.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon.
Alright, mitaine ashaikirwa nemwana. Mungadai muripo here muchitaura. Right now my neighbor is in pain. Kushoka kwacho ngatindomirirai tichaita hedu handichinyika yedu ngatimbochemai nevamu ndatenda hangu.
Thank you very much, Mom, for that call. We are grieving with you at this time. 498651 is the number to dial on Friday Chat, and you can be a part of the conversation. And do remember to prefix 04 to that number if you're calling from your cell phone or outside Harare. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Hello, Makadi.
Makadi, Jenyu, you're live.
Tinofala chaiso. Indaida kubatsira oka.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Ivi vanhu vari kuchema handiti. Ende tiri kuchema imoti handiti ndofara nemaSouth African. Kufara kwatingatichiita ndokupi. Isusu vanhu vasati vavigwa izvozvi, asi umwe munhu anoti handi tindofara, tindosapota munhu. Why kind of support yamuda kupa? Vanhu vari kutaura izvi kuti handiti tindosapota. Ati part and parcel yevanhu vari kuyaura vanhu kuSouth Africa ikoko. Havanzwisisi nekufa kwokuita vanhu. Vanhu vasati vavigwa asara kuti huyai tifare tipembere. Kupemberera chii? Rufu here kakupemberera chii? Tichifarire chii? Totsigira chii? Isi zvofanira kutomboita 3 months kana 6 months. If 3 months I think is enough. Totanga kuita mashows ya hatisi kuramba kuti mashows ngaite, but timbomirirai after kana 3 months mozotanga kuita mashows yenyu. Ngekuti izvi zvimangwana ngatitoita mashows. Tika tichifarira chii? Munhu kaita kushoka ari kuenda kundofara. Saka kufara kwaunonga uchifara chii misozi iri padama.
Well, we just lost that caller, but 498651 is the number to dial. I will take one more call before I revert back to my panel of guests. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir. Could you reduce the volume of your monitor?
Right, two things. Firstly, there's a show that was supposed to happen, but I think the shows, yes, they should wait. At least to give it a month, and then we can take it up after that. You can't say in the middle of the whole thing you want to just carry on as if nothing has happened. At least allow there to be some warning time. And secondly, why are we not working towards a united Africa and eradicating the borders? Because maybe that would be a first step to creating unity and so stop having this, that you are from South Africa, you are from Zimbabwe, you are from Zambia, but we're all just Africans from Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that contribution. Clive, there are a lot of callers who are raising their sentiments and saying, why a show when we are in mourning? And why not wait even a month? Then tozotaura zvekufara. And of course, they are speaking of borders. Why the borders? Aren't we Africans? Aren't we one after all? What is your take on that?
Yeah, of course, borders were created by our former colonial masters, but I don't think it's practical to say borders can be removed. I don't think so, because I think it takes a lot of logistical work and so forth. So I'm not a politician. I don't know how that can be done, but I've never seen it happening anywhere in the world, and I don't think it's possible. And then coming to the issue of boycotting shows, why is it just about shows? If we talk of boycotting, we have to boycott everything South African. We have to cut off DSTV, cut off all the food, and then we simply go back to 2008, and that would be a disadvantage to us. You see, so why are we just targeting music shows? If we talk of boycott, let's be neutral and boycott everything.
Okay, we've spoken about what we think is label to put to these attacks, whether it's xenophobia or Afrophobia. We've spoken about the issue of the media, social platforms. We've also spoken of the so-called boycotts, whether they come in peaceful form or in whatever form you want to term them, as long as the boycott is attached to it. But now, the way forward. What is the healthy thing to do right now so we can find a way to get above this?
The South African government, first of all, they have to be serious about dealing with this problem. Because as far as I'm concerned, their effort is very little. Because the way the people are demonstrating with knives in their hands and the police are standing the other side. I was telling my friends that if we had sent our own police in South Africa, xenophobia could be stopped in 30 minutes. Because they know how to deal with with protests. Because you're not supposed to be soft. You're a police officer standing in front of somebody holding a knife, and then you're just standing by and then letting the person chant their hate slogans. So I think the South African government is very weak. I think they've got the weakest police force in the region. Their police force is very weak. They're supposed to show that they are serious about dealing with this issue. Because you find that people will be looting. I've seen video clips where people are looting and the police are standing by. Videos of people being bent and the policemen laughing, standing by. And I even saw one clip where one of the police officers was also actually looting and taking stuff into his car. So I think the South African government has to deal with their security issues. I repeat that their police force, I think, is the weakest in the region.
Okay, identifying all those factors, but we are talking about what are the proactive solutions, the solutions that we need to overcome this. R-Tendo.
Okay, first, I feel xenophobia is not really an issue about foreigners or migrants or jobs or whatever. It's an economic issue. Because the migrants who are in South Africa right now are fleeing economic issues in their own countries. Be it they're coming from Zimbabwe, they're coming from Somalia, they're coming from wherever. There are issues within their own countries that are not sorted out. South Africans right now, most of them who are complaining, I think I've seen many clips or many memes where people are like, they're taking away our wives and they're taking away our jobs only in South Africa. Does the Windy say, a doctor took his job? Because ultimately, the bottom line is the South African economy needs to be able to give jobs to the South Africans first before it gives to the foreigners. And a lot of South Africans are unemployed. Same here as Zimbabweans. Most of the people who are coming from Zimbabwe are unemployed and they're looking for a better life in South Africa. And South Africans, because there's also very little that they can get because their economy also is like haywire right now. So for me, the issue is we need to have governments within Africa that have got not only political muscle, but have got political will to deal with the issues. This is what I was talking about. Because if Zimbabwe were to focus on reviving industries, I tell you, most of the people would come back. They would come back because you go to SABC. How many Zimbabweans are working in SABC right now? How many Zimbabweans are working in UK? How many Zimbabweans are working in Australia? This is just Zimbabwe. We haven't spoken about Mozambicans or Malawians or whoever's. So economies of countries, of African countries, need to be sorted out, and they need to be sorted out yesterday.
Okay, let's take a call before I turn to Faith. Good afternoon, you're live on Friday Chat.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead, sir.
In 1997, 470 Somalians have been killed in South Africa.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead. That line is pretty bad. We'll have to try and take that call again. 498651 is the number to dial. We do have time for one or two calls before we just wrap up the program Friday Chat. And we are looking at the impact of the recent attacks on migrants on the arts industry. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir. Yes,
Yes, I said in 1997, 470 Somalians have been killed. Hallelujah. Wamandera, wakati, South Africa is for everybody who lives in it. It is it really. Huh? About the refugees have been gunned down, robbed, assaulted, abused. Their houses and shops have been locked and burned down. In South Africa, there's a woman, she fled to South Africa from Somalia, looking for a better life. That was not. She was caught up in the Cape Town saga, where thugs attacked her, shops killed her brother, and robbed them of everything. They owned. South Africa mini constitution and the Refugee Act of 1998, Wakasaina. And they know Wakasaina to protect refugees. And but implementation is another story.
Okay, sir, if I can just cut you there. You still on the line? Hello? Well, just wanted to find out from him, with this in mind, the healthy way forward to tackle this issue. But we'll try and take one more call, and that is our last call. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Well, we'll try once more before we wrap up the program. 498651 is the number to dial on Friday Chat. And we will take one last call. Good afternoon. You're live on Friday Chat.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir. You're live on Friday Chat.
Right. Solution.
Yes, sir. Please.
I think government here, this is Zimbabweans, should be in order. You have to create more jobs for its own people. Boys, one wonder 3/4 of South Africa, they are not formally employed. One or two to Zimbabwe. The first port of call is for the government to look for its own people. Then it was in South Africa. As long as our economy is not perfect, then we are bound to go there. So first, government must be in order. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And that was our last caller, time consuming. We will just hope we will continue this conversation at another time. But Faith, if you can just come in.
Let me come in quickly and say, let's stop blaming the government. Let's stop blaming the economies for things that are going wrong because of the way people have been socialized. We have economies and governments that you may want to look at as ideal, where still crime is happening and violence is still happening. So it's not about government, it's not about economy. This is about human beings and their values. It all comes back to our values. What values are we upholding? And I'm saying to the Zimbabweans who are listening right now, the Bible in Leviticus 19 verse 33 says, if a foreigner comes to stay in your country, you shall not cause him trouble. That's what the word of God says. If we are going to uphold values of kindness, values of justice and fairness, irregardless of how the economy may be, irregardless of what the government may be like, we will respect one another as human beings. I always say strong families make strong nations. Let's give our children the right values that they will look at human beings as people and respect them, irregardless of what is happening with the economy. So let's not blame the government. Let's not blame the economy. Let's learn real values for life.
And I will ask R-Tendo in 30 seconds your parting shots to this discussion on Friday Chat.
My parting shot is our governments need to put the house in order, because it's only in Africa where governments thrive on poor people, because a poor man is willing to do whatever it takes to put food on their table. This is not a South African issue. It's going to be a very regional issue right now. We've got migrants who drowned just in the Mediterranean Sea. They're running away from Africa. They're going to be burnt because people are going to get angry. And what? Because there is poverty. Poverty must be eradicated.
Okay, and Clive.
Yeah, I think we should also learn to appreciate our own titsamire kungofunga kuti zvekunze ndizviri better, because if you find 90% of Zimbabweans in South Africa, they're not even formally employed, they could still be doing zvavari kuita izvozvo right here in Zimbabwe. Yeah.
And of course, can you imagine how our world would transform if the verbal slights, the unthinking dismissals and mean-spiritedness were replaced with encouraging and positive speech? I want to say thank you to my guests, to my panel of guests, Clive Mono Mukundu, R-Tendo Tapiwa, as well as Faith Mabaudi Nyarambi for coming through to Friday Chat. And of course, I was hoping for a thank you back, but
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And to our listeners, we value your feedback and comments. Do continue to provoke a thought. The program is Friday Chat. My name is Monika. We stand by for the news.